Hello, welcome to another video of JavaScript. In this code you can see that we have a function. This is actually constructor function and it is having type, legs and sound, and we are assigning the animal type, number of legs and sound with the variable that we are getting in this particular animal function, right? Using this constructor function we can create the object. We know that is possible. So if you want to create the object or instance, then you have to use this one like variable dog, and you have to use the new keyword. After you have to specify the animal constructor type here, and then what you have to do, you have to pass the type, animal type, and how many legs are there, as what kind of sound does it make, what kind of sound does she or he makes. In similar fashion, if you want to create a instance of the animal for cat, that is also possible. So you can also do this way. You have to specify the cat. This one is the object, or you can call it the instance, and here you have to pass the animal type as a cat, number of legs 4, and the sound she or he will make meow. Okay. In the similar fashion, if you want to create another object, that is also possible. So here if you want to create for the parrot, you can also do that. You have to pass parrot 2, and then you have to pass here quack. Now my question is that if you want to check that this particular animal is pet or not, so how will do that? So you have to write the console and log. Okay, console and log, and here inside this, if you want to access one particular property for that animal, you can also do that. For example, if you want to check the animal type for the dog, then here you have to specify the animal type. Okay, and then you have to give the semicolon. Now you can save it by Ctrl S and you can run it. So if you run it, you can see that it is showing dog as a result. But for example, the property which I have not declared over here, so for example, I want to check also one property that is pet or not. Okay, so for that, is pet I have to pass here, is pet, right? And then if I'll save it, you can see if I'll check this one, this particular property is or attribute is not mentioned in the constructor, right? So if we'll run this code, it will give you the result undefined, right? So why it is giving the undefined? Because I have not given. But if you want to give the property or the attribute, then you have to mention in the constructor function itself, otherwise you will get the error or undefined value. So for example, if you want to add the is pet property, so you may think that if I'll do this like this way, dog.isPet equal to false, so is this possible or not outside of the constructor? So let me save it and let me check this one. So we can see that is possible. False is actually showing over here, is pet, right? So here we are directly assigning to the object itself, right? But if I want to add for all animal, so is that possible or not? So if you want to now access for the cat, is that possible? So let me give this one. So if I want to give the cat.isPet, you want to check, and if you run it, you can see that this is undefined. It means this particular isPet is available in only case of dog, because I mentioned for only dog here, but I want that for each and every object I want to add that particular property. So how can we do that? So if you want to do that, you have to mention inside the animal, right? So you have to take this one, you have to just cut it and just paste over here, and now here you have to specify this dot. Okay, and just let me save it once and remove this one. Now let me save once, and if you want to check now cat.isPet, that is actually possible. You can see there is a false. And in the similar way, if you want to check for the dog, that is also possible. So let me type here dog, and let me save it. And if you want to check now, you will get false and false because this one for the dog and this one for the cat itself. Now one question may arise that here we are giving the value directly, right? So this is a type is a variable, this one is also variable, this one is variable, and this one is the value we are passing directly. So we are not creating the instance at that we are not passing it at the time of creation, object creation. So you can pass it like you can give true here, okay, and here you have to give a variable name, for example pet option, and then what you have to do, you can just give the value over here. So whatever the value will pass, it will get its value. So in case of cat also we have to pass, just let me give here a false value, okay. So I just given false. In case of parrot, you can also give the true, okay. So this way you can pass the value to the pet option and it will get its value. Right, now let me save it and let me run. So before that, let me clear here. So if we'll clear it and if we'll run now, you will be able to see that for animal type it is showing dog, and dog.isPet it is actually showing true. In case of cat, isPet is actually showing undefined. So here you have to give the comma, not dot. So for that it is not actually showing its value. Now let me save it once, and then if you run it, you can see that dog true, and for the cat it is showing false. So if you want to check for the parrot also, that is also possible. So let me copy this line, and here I have to mention parrot, right, and then you can save it. And if you run it, it will give you the true value because we have passed for the parrot true. And if you want to see the number of legs, that is also possible. So you have to mention here dot number of legs and just save it, and you can see the number of legs for the parrot, that is 2. So here, what is the agenda to create this particular video? My agenda was, if in case of constructor function, if you have not mentioned this property, so if you want to give the property for any particular object using the dot notation, you can specify the property, but it will not be passed for each and every object. So if you want to create the properties for each and every object, then it is mandatory that you have to create that particular property inside this constructor function. So is there any other way that we can add the property to the constructor function itself? So yes, that is possible using the prototype, that is possible. So we will show you how you can add the property outside of the constructor using the prototype. So we'll show you it to another video. In case of object, if it will having the object literal notation, so in that case also, if you want to add the property or method to the object itself, then you can also use the prototype. But other than this, if I already shown that using the animal, so let me show one more example here. So if I give here animal dot, and then if I'll try to give the property is pet, and then here if I'll specify true or false value, so is that possible or not? So if I'll save it and if you'll run it, what it will give? So let me clear it first. So through this line, I want to set a property is property to false for each and every object. Okay, so is that possible? So let me save it, and if you run it, you can see that it is not reflecting because whatever the value I have passed, that is actually taking. So let me remove this one. So for example, this property is not present in your constructor, and you want to set through like animal.pet. So is that possible or not? We want to check that. Okay, now if we'll save it by Ctrl S and if we'll run it, now you can see that it is mentioning there undefined, right? And it's not getting its value, like so that means using this way, if it is not possible to create the property through the animal constructor outside of the constructor itself. Okay, so if you want to do that, you know that what is the process. You have to define it inside this animal constructor. So in the same way, if there is a animal object literal notation, then you have to do the same way. But if I want to create this kind of property also for the function, if you want to add the functionality to the for each and every instance, then you can use the prototype. So in next video we'll try to understand what is prototype and how we can add the property or methods to the object, and it will reflect for the all instance. So thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.